Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, Shinrin Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, October 24th, around 7 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. An intense seismic swarm is now occurring at Kilauea, and we have a 5.1 magnitude at Bárðarbunga with an ongoing seismic swarm on the Reykjanes Ridge. Keep calm. It's boom time. Have you heard? In Louisiana, a super fog pileup on interstate leaves 7 dead, 25 injured, and 150 vehicles damaged. At least 7 people were killed and 25 others hurt in a crash involving 158 vehicles on Interstate 55. The pileup was insane. Here we see some footage from Louisiana state troopers there. 7 people killed, at least 24 injured, 158 vehicles damaged on an interstate in Louisiana during a super fog event. The crash was on I-55 involving at least 158 vehicles on Monday morning due to heavy fog conditions, according to the Louisiana State Police. And our thoughts and prayers go out to those involved. As thunderstorm and maybe even thunder snow and a big temperature drop is coming for Minnesota, thunderstorms and snowstorms in the upper Midwest this week as well. And their October thunderstorms brought hail to parts of Wisconsin here. We could see that's pretty significant hail there with some hail damage on the hood. And we do have a hurricane. Hurricane Tammy is still bustling in the Atlantic, and it's going to hook around there and head directly towards Bermuda. The good news is that conditions aren't ripe for it to stay strong. It's going to be some shear in here. It's going to break up into a tropical storm before it makes landfall. So Bermuda, you've got some time to prepare Hurricane Tammy to make landfall as a tropical storm sometime early this weekend. Now, we are in for a long-duration winter storm ahead. An early season snowstorm began Tuesday afternoon across portions of the Pacific Northwest, northern Rockies, and northern High Plains. Moderate to heavy snowfall is forecast for these locations over the next few days, with up to 5 states that could receive 16 inches or more. And those heavy snow bands will likely result in hazardous travel conditions and poor visibility. Here are the winter storm watches and warnings out for these regions currently. And let's take a look at the most recent GFS model and walk it through your Wednesday into Thursday morning. The most snow is going to be happening here in Montana and the high elevations of the Pacific Northwest all the way down to California. Thursday into Friday morning here, heavy snow will be moving into Wyoming, into northern Utah, as well as the Sierras. And then by Friday, the snow should move into northern Colorado, Nebraska by Sunday. And look at this, the snow on this model dipping all the way down to Texas, the nexus of the Schmexus. So a big winter storm lining up the first of the season. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore is not very pleased. Rare storm to drop 10 times the yearly rain overnight. Here's a picture taken on August 5th, 2020, which has nothing to do with the storm that's coming. Cyclone Tej is ravaging Yemen and could drop 20 inches of rain on the desert nation overnight, 10 times the area's annual average rainfall. The cyclone made landfall Tuesday morning and has already reportedly dropped 15 inches of rain at Al Gayada Airport in Yemen's Al Marha province. The storm has lost some of its strength as it moves inland, and we certainly should get some footage from the X. Let's take a look. Here is Jonathan Erdman. As feared, staggering rainfall totals have come out of eastern Yemen. And let's take a look at that. Yeah, that is deep. That car is buried. We'll give it a heart and a retweet there. Why not? Why wouldn't we? Seismic update. There's that big boom over at Bárðarbunga, 5.1 in Iceland. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. If Bárðarbunga goes boom, well, that would be boomtastic now, wouldn't it? Overall, normal activity on the Ring of Fire and worldwide. Here's a 5.4 in China. So the big news is the 5.1 here at the Vatnajökull. Let's go check it out. There it is, the big star. Small cluster of other quakes happening recently, too, in the last 4 hours. So we do have a small seismic swarm that was kicked off by this 5 magnitude at Bárðarbunga just moments ago. And let's take a look at the Reykjanes Peninsula. An ongoing seismic swarm has just begun there, and you can see all those red dots and that clustering of small quakes between 1 and 2 magnitude. So we could be seeing another eruption here on the peninsula before Christmas as we keep a close eye on the entire island, with Bárðarbunga heating up with a 5.1 magnitude just an hour and a half ago. Kilauea intense seismic swarm has been continuing for days. Elevated seismic unrest has been continuing beneath the volcano's southwest rift connector over the past days and hours. The internal ground vibrations have been monitored through nearly the entire island, and you can see here from the 17th to present, major uptick in the last 4 days. The alert level remains at yellow, and we're keeping a close eye on Kilauea as a new eruption may be imminent. Kluchiska volcano had intense lava fountains from the summit vent and a lava flow resumption on the southwest flank as well. And headlines abound about the fact that humanity may have lost control of the West Antarctic ice sheet melting. According to scientists, all of these headlines coming from a paper that just came out yesterday, Unavoidable Future Increase in the West Antarctic Ice Shelf Melting Over the 21st Century. Unavoidable. Well, if it's unavoidable, then why worry about it? Not to mention, they blame, potentially climate change and that the effects won't happen until we're all dead anyway. The only problem and why this is, I don't know how it's peer-reviewed, is they didn't mention any of the dozens of volcanoes underneath the West Antarctic ice shelf that's causing it to melt. Nothing but crickets. Space weather news update. The sun has been embarrassingly quiet for 3 days. Little bit of activity starting to kick it up into the low C range, but the sun itself is completely blank at solar max. Take a look. These two little sunspot pricks. So those that predicted this would be the largest sunspot cycle ever, well, they lost the mark by a mile. Voyager probe gets a virtual tune-up to keep decades-long missions going like the Energizer Bunny. Voyager 1 and 2 have received software updates and thruster tweaks from 12 to 15 billion miles away. And I wonder how they updated that code. Like, we only had, calculators back then. Now NASA is struggling to open its asteroid sample container. What else is new? Never a straight answer. About a month ago, pristine samples from an asteroid landed on Earth in the Utah desert while enclosed within a tight capsule. The sample canister was designed to keep the main chunks of the asteroid safe during its journey through space. But now, teams at NASA's Johnson Space Center are struggling to open it to get at these rocks. For the past week, the curation team for OSIRIS-REx mission has been having a hard time opening the TAG-SAM head, a round sampler head at the end of the articulated arm on the spacecraft that was used to grab the samples from the asteroid. Now, the TAG-SAM head touch-and-go sample acquisition mechanism is where the bulk of the asteroid sample is, and therefore being carefully handled by members of the team in a specialized glove box under the flow of nitrogen to prevent contamination. But the problem is, 2 of the 35 fasteners on the TAG-SAM head could not be removed, and these are the fasteners here. So that baby is locked tight, and the saga continues. All these articles will be linked below if you want to peruse them at your leisure. Now, an unusual crater on Pluto might be a supervolcano, or they might just be full of gobbledygook here. Because they're calling it a cryovolcano. Again, more nonsense in my opinion. As a geologist, this science of cosmology is dead. But planetary scientist Dale Kirkenshank thinks otherwise, and a group of his colleagues have been studying a strange feature on Pluto called the Kilday's Crater. Its existence raises a lot of questions about what's happening inside Pluto to create this weird landscape. The researchers recently released a paper exploring this region and offering an explanation for its appearance. Kilday's here circled is likely a super cryovolcano, which there is no evidence existing anywhere except in the minds of these charlatans. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And that is a boom.